The restaurant lights were soft and golden. Expensive jazz music played in the background. Crystal glasses shined on every table. At the center table sat the Carter family. Mr. Carter. Rich businessman. Expensive suit. Gold watch. Mrs. Olivia Carter. Elegant dress. Diamond earrings. Their teenage daughter, Sophie. Pretty, stylish, always on her phone. It was Olivia's birthday dinner. The table was full of food. Steaks. Seafood. Desserts. The bill already looked like someone's one-year salary. Near the corner, a young waiter stood with a small box in his shaking hands. His name was Eli. His shirt was clean but old. His shoes had scratches. His eyes were tired but kind. He kept looking at the Carter table, breathing slowly. Eli thought, should I give it or not? Maybe they will like it. Maybe they will laugh. But, she was kind to me once. A few days before, Eli had accidentally dropped a glass near their table. Sophie had smiled and said, "It's okay. Don't worry." That small kindness stayed in his heart. So today, with his little saved money and his big heart, Eli had bought a simple silver bracelet with a tiny charm. He even wrapped it himself. He whispered to himself, "It's just a thank you. Nothing big. Just respect." The restaurant manager, Mr. Kane, waved at him. "Eli, table 7, he hissed quietly. "VIP family. Don't mess up." Eli nodded and walked to the Carter table, heart beating fast. He placed the cake down first. Everyone clapped. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," Mr. Carter said to Olivia. He kissed her cheek. Then Eli took a deep breath. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said softly. I brought something for you. And for your family. Just a small gift to say thank you for always coming here." He gently placed the small wrapped box on the table. The whole table went silent. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Mr. Carter stared at the box like it was trash. Sophie looked curious. "What is this?" Olivia asked, her voice cold. A gift, ma'am," Eli said. His hands were shaking a little. "From me." Mr. Carter laughed loudly. "A gift? From the waiter," he said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "Oh, this is interesting." A couple at the next table turned to watch. Sophie picked up the box and unwrapped it. Inside was the silver bracelet. Simple. No brand. No logo. Just clean, shiny, and carefully chosen. Sophie's face changed. Not soft. Harsh. She laughed. "Is this from the street market?" she said. "It looks so cheap." Olivia leaned forward and gave a fake smile. "Listen," she said, looking Eli up and down. "We don't wear things like this. Do you know how much my jewelry costs?" Mr. Carter joined in. "Do you think we need charity from a waiter?" Eli's throat felt dry. "And no, sir," he stammered. "I just wanted to." "To what?" Olivia cut him off. "To make yourself feel nice? You should focus on serving, not this." Sophie held the bracelet with 2 fingers like it was dirty. "I wouldn't even give this to my dog," she said, laughing. Some people around the restaurant were watching now. A few waiters stood frozen. Eli felt his face burning. His eyes were wet, but he tried not to cry. If you were in his place, what would you do? Silence. Then, Mr. Carter picked up the bracelet and dropped it back into the box. "Take it," he said. "Give it to someone on your level. Maybe they will be impressed." He pushed the box toward Eli like garbage. Eli swallowed his pain. His fingers closed around the box slowly. "I'm sorry if I offended you," he whispered. "Just do your job," Olivia said. "And don't bring us cheap things again." Eli nodded and backed away. His hands were shaking. His chest hurt. But he kept his head down. He felt small. Invisible. Humiliated. As he walked back to the kitchen, he heard Mr. Carter's voice again. "People like him should know their place," he said. The words cut deeper than any knife. Eli stepped into the dark staff corridor and leaned against the wall. Tears finally fell. He opened the box again and looked at the bracelet. He closed his fist around it. One thought came into his mind. One day, I will not be the one standing here being insulted. He wiped his tears, put the bracelet into his pocket, and went back to work, not knowing that this little bracelet would return to the Carter family in a way they could never imagine. Years later, they would sit at another table, and this time, Eli would decide their fate. 7 years passed. The busy restaurant where Eli once worked was now just a memory. The building had a new name and a new owner. The Carter family's life had changed too. At first, everything was perfect for them. Big house, luxury cars, fancy parties, overseas vacations. But slow and silent, things started to break. A risky business deal went wrong. Then another. Then another. Mr. Carter trusted the wrong partner. Money disappeared. Projects failed. Investors pulled out. Soon, he lost his company. Their big house was sold to pay debts. The sports car? Gone. The private school for Sophie? Too expensive now. They moved to a smaller house. Still nice, but nothing like before. Olivia complained every day. How did we fall like this? She shouted. We were the Carters. People respected us. Mr. Carter sat at the table with his head in his hands. Do you think I wanted this? He snapped. The market crashed. Investors left. What do you want me to do? Sophie, now in her early 20s, sat quietly in the corner. She remembered the old days. The laughter. The parties. The feeling that she was above everyone else. But now, no one greeted her with, "Good morning, Miss Carter" anymore. She thought of how she used to talk to waiters, drivers, maids. The jokes she made. The way she laughed at their cheap shoes, old phones, simple gifts. And sometimes, one memory came back like a needle in her heart. The bracelet. The waiter's face when she insulted his gift. His wet eyes. His shaking hands. She never forgot it completely. One evening, Mr. Carter came home with a brochure in his hand. His face looked tired but hopeful. Look, he said, placing it on the table. There's a new luxury restaurant chain in the city. Very successful. They're opening a new branch. They're hiring managers. Good salary. If I can get in, we can stand again. Olivia frowned. You? Work as a manager in someone else's restaurant? She asked. You used to own your own company. Mr. Carter sighed. Well, now I don't. We need money, Olivia. Sophie picked up the brochure. On the front was a logo of a simple plate and fork. Clean design. Modern. The name under it read, Eli's Table, Fine Dining with Heart. Under the logo it said, Founder and Owner, Eli Brown. Sophie whispered, Eli. She felt a strange pull in her chest. The next day, they all went together to the main branch for Mr. Carter's interview. The restaurant was beautiful. Not loud rich. Soft rich. Warm lights. Calm music. Staff walking with respect and confidence. Walls covered with photos of people smiling, eating, laughing. On one side, there were framed pictures of charity dinners, free food drives, and training programs for poor youth. Under one photo, a small quote was written. Everyone deserves respect. No one is above or below. E.B. Sophie read it slowly. Guests were treated with love. Staff members were treated like family. No one shouted. No one threw plates. No one rolled eyes. Mr. Carter looked around and forced a smile. Nice place, he said. If I work here, maybe we can slowly get our old life back. A hostess came to them. Good afternoon, she said kindly. Are you here for the manager interview? Yes, Mr. Carter replied. For Mr. Eli Brown. She nodded. He's in his office. Please wait in the lounge. He likes to meet some candidates together. They sat on a soft sofa. Sophie's heart was beating fast. Eli. Why did the name bother her so much? Minutes later, the door at the far end opened. A man stepped out. He wore a simple white shirt. No tie. No flashy watch. But he walked with quiet confidence. The staff smiled when they saw him. His face was older now. Stronger. But his eyes were the same. Kind and deep. Sophie's breathing stopped. Her mind screamed. It's him. The waiter. The one she laughed at. The one whose gift she insulted. Only now, he wasn't a waiter. He was the owner. The rich man. And her father was here to ask him for a job. Eli's eyes moved across the room, and then stopped on the Carter family. Eli froze for a second when he saw them. That face. That voice. That laugh. He remembered everything in one flash. The cake. The bracelet. The words. People like him should know their place. But now the roles were different. Eli was the one in charge. Mr. Carter did not recognize him at first. To him, Eli was just another successful businessman. Eli walked closer, his steps calm. Good afternoon, he said. I'm Eli. You must be here for the manager position? Mr. Carter stood up quickly. Yes, Mr. Brown, he said, trying to sound confident. I'm Daniel Carter. This is my wife Olivia, and my daughter Sophie. Eli's eyes looked at each of them. His gaze stayed 1 second longer on Sophie. She felt her throat tighten. He remembers me, she thought. He must remember me. Eli smiled politely. Please, he said. Come with me to the meeting room. They followed him into a glass-walled room with a long table. Through the glass, they could see the restaurant floor. Busy, but peaceful. Eli sat at the head of the table. The Carters sat across from him. So, Mr. Carter, Eli began, opening a file. You had a company before, right? Yes, Daniel said. A big one. We handled luxury events, VIP parties, things like that. But the market changed. Things went wrong. Eli nodded slowly. I see, he said. And how do you treat staff in your events? Waiters, cleaners, drivers? Olivia frowned. What kind of question is that? She asked. A very important one, Eli replied calmly. This restaurant chain was built on respect. Every person matters here. No one is above or below. Sophie's hands were now tightly locked together in her lap. Her palms were sweating. Eli looked straight at her. Do you agree with that, Miss Sophie? He asked. She swallowed. Yes, she whispered. I do now. Eli's eyes narrowed slightly. Now, he repeated softly. Silence. Sophie felt her chest rise and fall quickly. She couldn't hide anymore. She couldn't pretend. I don't know if you remember me, she said, her voice shaking. Years ago. Another restaurant. My mother's birthday. A waiter brought us a gift. A bracelet. Olivia's face went pale. Daniel's eyes widened. Eli leaned back in his chair. I remember, he said quietly. It felt like the whole room got colder. Sophie's eyes filled with tears. I was horrible, she said in a broken voice. I laughed at you. I insulted your gift. I acted like you were nothing. I am so sorry. Olivia opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Daniel looked down at the table, ashamed. For the first time in many years, they felt truly small. Powerless. Guilty. Eli watched them. He could see their shame. Their fear. He could also see the memory of his old self, that young waiter with shaking hands and a tiny box. He reached into his bag and pulled something out. A small, old box. He placed it on the table. Olivia gasped. Sophie covered her mouth. The same bracelet. Eli opened the box gently. The silver bracelet shined under the white light. A little scratched, but still beautiful. I kept it, he said softly. Not because your words were kind. They were not. That day, you made me feel like dirt. He looked at Sophie. Your laugh stayed in my head for nights, he said. Your father's words too. People like him should know their place. Daniel closed his eyes. A tear rolled down his cheek. But this bracelet reminded me of something else, Eli continued. It reminded me who I did not want to become. He looked at the photos on the wall outside. The charity dinners. The staff smiling together. I worked double shifts, he said. I studied at night. I started a small food stall. Then a small cafe. Then this restaurant. Every time someone disrespected me, I remembered your words. And I promised myself, if I ever become rich, I will never treat anyone like that. The room was quiet. Only Sophie's soft sobbing could be heard. Daniel whispered, We were wrong. I was proud. Arrogant. I thought money made me better than others. Olivia finally spoke, her voice shaking. I'm sorry, she said. We're not the same people now. Life taught us the hard way. Eli studied their faces. He could see real regret. Not fake. Not acting. Real. If you were in his place right now, the narrator asked softly, what would you do? Fire them? Humiliate them? Laugh at them like they laughed at him? Eli took a slow breath. Mr. Carter, he said. You're not getting the manager job. Daniel's shoulders dropped. He nodded weakly. I understand, he whispered. We deserve this. Sophie cried harder. But Eli wasn't done. He turned to Sophie. However, he said, we have a training program here. For people who want to learn from zero. Not as VIP guests. As workers. As humans. Sophie looked up, surprised. You would let me work here? She asked. Eli nodded. If you start as a simple staff member, he said. Runner. Cleaner. Then maybe server. If you treat every person here with respect, one day you can grow. But not because of your last name. Because of your heart. Sophie wiped her tears. I will, she said. I want to. I want to change. He turned to Daniel and Olivia. And you too, he added. Our restaurant sometimes hires event consultants. On a contract basis. If you are willing to work hard, listen, and respect every worker. I may call you. No promises. No special treatment. Daniel's lips trembled. Thank you, he said. Not for the job. For not doing to us what we did to you. Eli closed the bracelet box. He pushed it gently toward Sophie. Keep it, he said. This time, not as a joke. As a reminder. Of who you were, and who you choose to be now. Sophie held the box with both hands, like it was something holy. I will never throw it away again, she whispered. They left the restaurant with heavy hearts, but also with a small light inside. Months later, guests at Eli's table would see a new girl running around serving water, clearing plates, smiling softly at every customer. Her name tag said, Sophie. Sometimes, when a poor man came in with torn clothes, she brought him water before he even asked. Sometimes when a waiter made a mistake, she said gently, "It's okay. Take a breath. You're doing fine." On her wrist, under her sleeve, a small silver bracelet shined. The same one. Karma had arrived. Not as revenge with blood, but as a mirror, forcing them to face themselves. The waiter they once insulted now stood above them, and chose kindness where they had chosen cruelty. Never insult someone's gift, their work, or their effort. You may forget your words, but their heart will remember forever. Treat everyone with respect, no matter how rich or poor they are. Because one day, life will change seats. And you might be the one standing in front of the person you once hurt.